Alright, welcome everyone to the Tethys Shipyards. I am Takeshi Yamato, the Yard Master, joining our host, the Housecoat Gamer.
Yo.
Today, we look at our next Wars craft, the Rebel A-Wing.
The RZ-1A Wing, developed by Kuat Drive Systems, at least in its original form.
Yep.
The upgraded version was designed by the Alliance, was designed as a cheap, relatively useful, short-range interceptor. But what it lacked in guns and shields, it was only marginally higher up than a TIE fighter in that regard, is speed.
The cardinal... the trinity of small craft... the trinity of warfare everywhere is speed, firepower, and durability. Pick two. Or, if you really want to specialize, pick one. The A-Wing picked speed. And speed alone.
Now, we're not going to insult the A-Wing and call it a piece of crap. It does a good job, and those blasters are actually mounted on rotary gimbals, so they can spin around and shoot at something chasing it. Just to make it go turn away. And it's rather agile.
Yeah. It is fast, it is agile, it doesn't pack a major punch, but it can still fight off, but it can definitely defend itself. It's just a tiny bit more sturdy than a TIE fighter.
But let's be fair, it's an interceptor. The role of an interceptor is to get somewhere supremely quickly and shoot something down. That was, in fact, the original role of the fighter as seen in World War I, to shoot down reconnaissance aircraft and, eventually, bombers. Dogfighting didn't occur until...
World War II.
Well, it did occur during World War I, but I was going to say later in World War I. Technology had to advance a little bit.
Yeah. So, yeah.
The A-Wing basically falls into that category. However, there is an upgraded version called the RZ-2. Now, as much as I hate Disney, join the club.
Yeah.
We don't hate the RZ-2 interceptor, based directly off this. Now, the 2 is smaller, but is that a bad thing? Sometimes smaller interceptors are better.
Yeah.
And it's quite maneuverable. The A-Wing is certainly more than capable of making the life of any poor bastard suck.
Yeah. But again, they are fragile. Not flimsy like a TIE fighter, but fragile. See, of course, even though they're fragile, they can still make it. They can still do things. They can still go. Even if they're fragile, when they're taken down, they can still make someone's day suck. See Return of the Jedi. Intensify forward firepower!
Too late! I hated what that happened, but the guy... What can I say? I like the Executor. The Executor's a nice little boat.
Yeah.
Little.
A nice big boat. Anyway, let's get to the stats. We're giving this thing an entered service date. Entered service date for Warscraft is academic, mainly because we're using the same Trek equivalent year of 2250 for everything. But we're giving this thing an entered service date of 4 BBY. Because, well, Well, it may not be Legends. Rebels had a point.
And that point is, to be blunt, these fighters had to exist before the Battle of Yavin. In fact, the original designation for the RZ-1 was the R-22 Spearhead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes Disney has a point, and I will
Yeah.
fully admit it.
Yeah. And point of order here. I believe Rebels and Rogue One could potentially be adapted to work with Legends EU whatever with appropriate work. Now,
I don't disagree, because instead of the convoluted mess of getting the Death Star plans in the original expanded universe, Rogue One actually condensed it and made it, readable.
Yeah.
A freaking miracle, considering it's Disney.
Yes.
But enough Disney bashing. Let's get to the points.
Yeah. We're treating this thing as a shuttle pod, so it has like the basic TIE variants, this thing has 18 points. We've put 3 points in comms and sensors, 2 points each in computers, structure, and weapons, and 6, count them, 6 points in engines. This thing is a speed demon. It's faster than even the TIE Interceptor.
And we're going to treat it as such.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if some of the initial I would not be surprised if the only legitimate A-Wings appeared in the Starfighter racing circuits. Because, seriously, these things could outpace just about anything else.
And we respect them as such.
Yeah. Now, for department points, pods only have 2 points. So we're using the interceptor as something of a base. So we have con 1 point each in con and security.
I don't see any reason to change that. This is just basically a TIE interceptor with missiles and only 2 cannons instead of
and 1. Bigger engines. For weapons, it has laser cannons, 4 challenge dice of damage, close range vicious 1, and concussion missiles. A torpedo type weapon by STA standards, 3 challenge dice, medium range, piercing 1. And it has some of the standard wars rules, a hyperdrive FTL propulsion system, and the deflector screen special rule that says you can protect against energy weapons, you can protect against projectile weapons, but you cannot protect against both at the same time, because that's the way war shields work.
The A-Wing may not be the best option to deal with actual Trek fighter craft like the Peregrine, but it might actually have a chance in hell if it stays on the Peregrine's rear end, which it could easily do. It is very small, and if it sticks close enough and avoids the engine exhausts, it could eventually punch through the shields and down the Peregrine.
Yeah.
But that's a big if, because the Peregrine is bigger, has a superior power plant. Let's be honest, these things use fusion generators.
Yeah.
While the Peregrine has a full-on warp core.
Yeah. And while we don't have a picture of the Disney RZ-2,
it basically does look just like the A-Wing.
Yeah.
Probably and a little cleaner. It has blue accents, but you'll be able to look it up.
Yeah. And like we did with the T-70, we can put in 1 additional point just to represent improvements.
I might say that goes into weapons.
All right, weapons 3. Make this thing a little.
Give it some bigger teeth. It's gonna need it.
Yep.
But yeah, that is the RZA-1, the A-Wing. Speed Demon, the fastest fighter in the galaxy. Nothing could even get close.
Yep.
Bye bye.